6th edition of the Luxor African Film Festival took place on the 16th to the 22nd of March in Luxor, with an amazing inauguration taking place in the historic temple of Karnak. And we'll be discussing also a workshop that was held on the sidelines of this amazing film festival. We're joined by film director and associate professor at the Higher Institute for Cinema in Cairo, Sherif Amasha. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
And Ahmed, participant at the Luxor African Film Festival. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to ask you more about the theme of the workshop. And I think that Sherif will be able to answer more.
Yeah, definitely Ahmed can, come up after that. The workshop is mainly about filmmaking from scratch, from the idea. The students were asked to prepare like assignments ahead before coming here, like preparing a memento, something that drives emotional memory from their hometown, and then they bring it here. We discuss that. Also, they have like a pre-prepared script to shoot at the workshop, and then we took it from there.
Yes. Yeah. So can you elaborate a little bit about the
sure. Essentially, the workshop is all about all the aspects of filmmaking. So we had cinematography, we had script writing, we had directing. The conductor of the workshop is Mr. Haile Grima. He's essentially focused on the directing aspect. So I can say from experience that it was driven by directing the aspect in the first place by the directing aspect.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I'm quite interested. Is this the first time you take part in side events taking place as part of the Luxor African Film Festival, or you've participated in other functions for that film festival before?
For me, it's the first time. Actually, the president of the festival asked me to come because I supervise the thesis films for the High Institute of Cinema. This is what I do, the workshops. And they said, Sherif, we need you to do this because it's very compact in time-wise and stuff like that. I don't know about Ahmed if it's the first time for him to participate.
Yeah, that's the first time, yes.
Which is...
Tell me about how do you feel, the experience. Tell me about that experience, being in Luxor and studying cinema or doing cinema workshops in Luxor.
Yeah, it was very exhilarating because it was my very first time to study among African filmmakers and from different cultures, and the passion itself that among us all, that what drive us in this experience.
And it was too much passion that we didn't have time to sleep. Actually,
I second that.
It was like 18 hours a day.
Wow.
These guys have seen the streets almost like 6 days afterwards, and it was like, we're out.
How long was that? How long was it?
We were there for like 10 days or something, but then after 6 days of being literally in detention, into the meeting room.
Then they started looking at the streets and...
I went to Mr. Haile and was like, I'm taking the students outside to shoot, and he's like, okay, Sherif, go.
Maybe for Sherif.
Because we had to.
Yeah.
It's actually like, we shot like 24 movies in 4 days, which is...
Wow.
Yeah, but that was like my health being drained.
Now these movies where they shot to make use of the Luxor panorama, was it outdoors or all indoors?
Well, from my knowledge, the previous festival workshops, they always shot indoors.
Indoors.
But then once I'm there, I said no, and then we went outside. And we shot in many venues, at the Luxor temple, in the desert, and which brought, like, you can say, a production value into the thing. More experience to the students.
And you had all the permissions to shoot anywhere?
We had the permission. We had many volunteers that they were trying to cope and help, but it's very hard to them. They are not film-based people.
Yes.
But then this is where the learning starts. This is how I teach hand in hand, one-on-one in each student. It was a pleasure for me.
So usually the learning goes both ways. When you're meeting a lot of cultures, a lot of minds.
Definitely.
What was the learning from you? Because you say an amazing number of 24 films created in this short span of time.
To me, it's an enormous experience. The students, their background, the history, the way they perceive things about here and there, and even Ahmed can tell you about this. It was overwhelming, actually.
Yes, yeah. Ahmed can add if you want, about this, this experience, the learning.
Well, I had the experience of helping my roommate at the time to shoot his movie. So I was there during the preparation of the idea till the execution. so I witnessed a lot, and I wished if I could be more helpful with other friends. My colleague of ours was in South Africa. I helped him because he was getting the actors to do the acting in Arabic, but he's writing the script in English. So he had someone to help him making the script more Egyptian than Arabic. So I had to do it for him. So that was I think the core of the workshop was to
learn about the cultures, the minds,
exactly, the collaboration, the intermingling of
the co-experience. It's not experience only. It's like something more.
Yes.
In the context.
Yes. Definitely, and maybe I'd like to ask you, Amasha, about the design of the workshop itself. How was it designed? What did you really add to it? Was it like, about giving lectures, or about like taking every sample and everybody looks at that film being shooted? How did it go?
Well, at start, Mr. Haile had his own schedule and program, which is great. But then it was the first time for me to meet him. He's a great man. It was such a pleasure. But then he's more concerned into adding his philosophy, coming from an African descendant, and he's so into that national, African thing, which is a great passion. We always learn like build the character, build the artist, and then build the movie, which is easier. Great, but sometimes time-wise, that to me, I was like, okay, we're running out of time. I need to shoot the films.
Yes.
But still, this and that was, the whole experience. Having someone of his caliber, it's a pleasure to have this. I think he touched each and every one of you guys, even me. He has an overwhelming passion that it's too much sometimes. It's too much, and I'm telling him. He doesn't sleep. I mean, literally, it's like 18 hours a day, and then let's meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is like 2 hours, and he's asking them to do stuff when and where. And I salute him for this.
Yes,
now, I'm quite interested in the workshop, but I'm interested a lot in the graduation projects of the High Institute of Cinema, which you supervise. Now, tell us about that and about the High Institute of Cinema's participation and the films screened.
There wasn't any of the students from Institute except a few of them, and they were mainly like listeners. Definitely the High Institute of Cinema students are more experienced, and they know much more technically. And
you said that you had the graduation films, the projects itself, you were responsible for that.
Yep, at the Institute.
Yes. Were any of these films also screened on the sidelines, or did you screen it at the workshop for people to learn from, or not really?
Some of them I did individually. As a reference when I'm like teaching something or stuff like this. Many of the students were there as guests, I guess, of them.
Yes.
They participated in some of the movies. Because if he needs an editor, a cinematographer, or something like that, I have a freshman or a freshman girl who edits. They started collaborating, which was a great experience to them. And they built friendship, and it was great.
Very good. So tell us about your film.
Actually, I didn't get the opportunity to make my own film because
time-wise.
Time-wise, and
but you participated in
other
films.
I co-participated with the other filmmakers in our workshop, like doing the script as I've told you, and
In general, what are you interested in? You're saying you write. You're a writer. You do scripts, or are you a director? What do you like doing more?
The workshop itself, it sets you
in real life.
In real life.
Yes.
Maybe I'm like a one-man crew. I do some writing, I do some directing, and videography as well. So I had the background and I had experience before, because I'm an independent filmmaker. I made a movie before, and I got awards locally here in Egypt. But there was another experience that I had in this workshop, to be honest, because it had a soul in it. It just wasn't all about technical. There was a lot to it.
It was more about the philosophy and soul.
Yeah.
I might add to you here. More than the technical part, which is...
Yeah.
So, Sherif, if you can tell us a little bit about, this part of the one-man crew. Do you think the director has to have knowledge or experience with all of the aspects of filmmaking, has touched some way or another the script writing, editing, has tried those, or it's about the direction the strategy, the thinking, the creativity from that aspect only. Which is successful?
In my opinion, and it's a personal opinion, I'm not speaking professionally, it's a must to a certain extent. You need to know like bits and bits about this and that. That's a must.
Yes.
Beyond that, that's you. I'm more into
how deep you could
exactly.
go.
I edit like the 4 systems of software. I know it by myself. When I make my own movie, I never touch the buttons. I need the editor as a thinker, as a filmmaker, to add his part as an artist.
Because he would be more technical, more faster.
Exactly.
But you can do it.
And also I can use him as a human. You know, I need him to participate as an artist.
His creativity, his aspect, his brain aspect.
Editing is never the buttons, the system. Editing is how you build the narrative of the film.
Yes.
And that's something that you learn as you go in life.
Yes, true.
But at the end of the day, in my workshops, I always teach my students, no, you have to start finding the buttons and playing along with the material that you've shot, because it builds your, you know, your narrative, how you think of things. You rebuild the movie during the editing, so it's important.
Yes.
It goes the same with the lighting, like the daylight that's hitting me. You need to know more about this.
Yes.
Because if he's shooting like a documentary and he's out there, at that time he will be a one-man show. Documentaries need like minimum crews sometimes, depending on the topic. You have to play around with this. You have to have like little knowledge about sound recording, just to get you through, you know.
Yes.
So it's a must.
Now, I'm quite interested, Mr. Sherif, to know more about as a director and assistant professor. Now what's big among the youth is the independent cinema, and that's the venue through which a lot of our talented directors and writers can screen their own films and productions. Now, how popular is it right now in Egypt, and what do we need in it?
Well, it's growing massively. In my opinion, and I know that others don't agree with me, but having the internet as a media, as a place for everyone, having the equipment being like even your phone camera, get you great
high
quality.
Resolution,
Yeah, I mean, you will need lenses and other aspects, but still, like my nephew,
get a 4K
she's 2 years old and she mimics, and she makes a movie. She just mimics the framing, and it's great, it looks great. But then there comes the teaching. You need to know more. If you're going to be professional, you need to know more about storytelling, you know, the actions, the drama, because this is the core that drives everything else. And also you have to build yourself as an artist. That's mainly the main thing. Independent movies, in my opinion, as an independent industry, it's a great like, you know, entrance for everyone to make like a show reel, introduce themselves, having new ideas. It's the same as in the States. I've lived there for years, and it always brings new filmmakers and artists all the time, from Tarantino to everyone, you know.
So today, you know, things have evolved. Do you think directing or film creation is needed for all generations? Do you think it should be part of the education? It's no longer this fancy thing that you do a short movie or a film. It has to be part of everything that we do, and the directors are excelling somewhere else.
Well put, I have to say. I need it to be like that. Even little children have to have some sort of an experience in a certain classes, like play around with the camera, try to tell you a story. This builds character and builds, you know, means of expression and finding their own life and everything. It's good. You don't have to be that professional,
but you have to know you have to have the senses.
Exactly.
Which is like you can use everything in everything. All right, finally, we'd like to thank you very much, Ahmed Sarhan, Sherif, Amasha, for joining us. It has been a great pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure is ours.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Let's move now to a short break and returning back with more.